Alright guys, we have the second half of the 8th anniversary EZAs with the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and GT Goku. Another one that is level 10 links, another one that is indeed rainbowed. I do actually have skill orbs on these guys, which I didn't know I had. Probably need to change those right about now. We are rocking out with pretty much the exact same team with a bit more Super Saiyan 4 flair. Of course, they're going to go really well on this guy's GT Heroes 220 lead. Another great addition to it. Unfortunately, doesn't benefit from Carnival LSJ4 Goku support. It will still be a great fit on the team nonetheless, but no Saiyan Raw. They are starting with 827k attack stat, 530 in terms of defense. Just like the Buu duo, they are starting with 300% attack and defense, guaranteed guard. And if we put them in slot 1, they will have 30% damage reduction, 30% crit chance for the one time, and then receive an additional key +1 per key sphere obtained. Or in slot 2 or 3, pick up 2 additional key per key sphere obtained, chance to crit and damage reduction rate of 40% for the one time, while also having a 50% chance of 30% damage reduction while being super attacked temporarily, which it's nice getting the extra damage reduction, do not get me wrong, but I think just like so many of us, including myself, which I've been very vocal about over the years, when it comes to a chance to gain, at the time, guard, but something as important as damage reduction, I'm not a big fan of it. I get why it's a chance, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it. I don't like it. I really don't. It's nice to have it. It's nice that it's there, but the fact that it could trigger or it can't, especially on Super, I'm not a big fan of that. I'll be really real. And as long as our HP is at 50% or more, which of course we are literally on our first turn, it is, we do have an extra 100% attack and defense as well. On super attack on 18 key, these guys are going to be raising attack by 70%, then greatly raising defense by 50% for 4 turns. Then on 12 key, going to greatly raise attack by 50% and greatly raise defense by 50% for the 1 turn. So of course, while the Buu duo is building up their defensive stat, which they've done pretty quickly, these guys will be building up their attack stat not as fast, but we are starting with 31 million attack stat, which is a pretty good base point. We consider the 18 key is going to do a big 70% chance to jump. Well, not chance, but a 70% chance. Why do I keep saying chance? A 70% jump. There we go. We finally got there in the end. But it would have been nice if it was as quick as the Buu duo. However, considering they're getting 70% and 50% with multiple additionals, they're still going to be building up that attack stat pretty quickly, even if it's not the full 100%. I mean, look at that. We've super attacked, what, 3-4 times already? And we've literally just started. Then we're receiving attack, which happens for the one occasion, but consistently within the turn. We're going to build up 50% defense for every attack received, which of course you saw them do there. Good start though. Tanking double digits on normals is what we want to see. Then attacking with 12 or more key, 150 extra attack. And then just like the Buu duo, when you attack with 18 or more key, which we did, guaranteed additional super, which helps with the attack build up. Then we're attacking with 24 key, guaranteed additional super. Then one time only, we'll do another guaranteed additional super, just again like the Buu duo. So it's going to help them build up that attack stat very nice, very quickly, help them do a ton more damage. However, what I will say is the Buu duo doing that with defense is a lot more handy and a lot more useful than these guys building up attack. However, watching their attack stat fly up, considering how much the Buu duo's defensive stat jumped up, is something I'm very much looking forward to seeing because of how much defense they gained with like 1 turn of stacking about 3-4 times. They were already sitting on like 3 milli. So watching these climb in attack stat, maybe not as fast as of course as the Buu duo do in defense, because they get 100% each time, whereas these guys get 70 then 50. It's still going to be pretty fun, and you're still going to do a lot of damage when it comes to the amount of super attacks these guys can possibly do. Again, when it comes to easily picking up key and getting key, and then building up their attack stat. So that is going to be the fun thing. And I didn't do it this time. I don't know why. I think I just prioritized the more SSJ4s and knew the setup we already had. But having them on the same team is also going to be pretty fun. You know, you've got one building attack, then having another building defense, and it's just going to be a fun time, isn't it? And then for every super attack performed, which of course, when you're getting 18 and 24 key, getting those guaranteed additional supers is a big help for this build up. You'll get key +2 indefinitely, along with 10% crit chance and 10% damage reduction. Not indefinitely, that goes up to 50%. So that does mean that these guys on their first appearance after supering, depending on what slot they're in, could be sitting with anywhere between at least 40% damage reduction in slot 1 up to 90, to then in slot 3 to at least, well no, actually other way around, at least having the 90% in slot 2 to then about 80% in slot 1. And then if you are in slot 2, there's of course that 50% of hitting 30% damage reduction when getting supered. You're talking over. You're talking like 120% damage reduction, which is really nice, which after supering, I'd actually, on turn 1 at least, I'd like to actually see that in action. Just to see how well guard on 120% damage reduction with all the extra defense they've got, off of them getting 24 key and all those guaranteed extra additional supers, how much that will really beef them up defensively. But I mean, it's also good to have, because once those one-time ones have done, you're looking at guard, and then you're looking at 50% damage reduction going forward, which, don't get me wrong, in Big 2026, which is still crazy to say, isn't actually as good as it used to be, anywhere near how hard enemies hits. But it's still good to have nonetheless, again, partnered with, which again, I'm not a fan of, the 50% chance of an extra 30% damage reduction. So let's take a look, see what they're up to. We're looking at a 2.5, 2.6? 2.64 milli attack already, 1.19 milli defense. Some pretty good stats, if I do say so myself. And of course, they have built up quite a bit in terms of attack, which of course we expected them to do. Again, not as quickly as the Buu Duo builds up defense, but still, of course, very quickly nonetheless, considering they started on what, 700k in terms of attack. So they've more than doubled off of what, super attacking 4 times in their first appearance. They've more than doubled their attack stat. They've actually more than tripled their attack stat, which is kind of crazy to think about. So the jump in amount of damage they're going to be doing is pretty crazy. And again, we've hit 24 key once more. So we're going to get the extra 150 attack. We're going to get the guaranteed additional super on 18 key and guaranteed additional super on 24 key, which means even more stacks while building that key +2 for every super attack performed, which again, it's just a circle. It's like recycling. We are good for the planet. We are recycling our energy, which means we're going to get even more key to easily hit 24 key more consistently to get the guaranteed additional supers. So we're back up to 40 mil. And with all that crit chance build up, doing 40+ mil and then some, the more they stack, means they're always going to be doing some pretty crazy damage while hitting some pretty crazy numbers while building up. And again, imagine these guys in Festival of Battles. Again, Vegeta and Trunks, staple in that event. Stacking their attack up a bit faster while they stack attack themselves, especially with how quickly they're doing it. Again, they're already jumped up to 40 mil right now after starting on about, what, 31 on turn 1. Then you've got Vegeta and Trunks stacking their defense for them to help the fact that they don't stack defense. It's going to make them incredibly ridiculous for Festival of Battles, just like the Buu Duo on the defensive side of things. So I think going forward now, Festival of Battles is, I don't want to say it was ever, I mean, it was difficult, but is Festival of Battles easy now? Because you take Vegeta and Trunks, you take the 2 Year 8 Anniversary EZAs, and then you take maybe Vegeta and Gogeta from Year 10. Maybe at this point you don't even need them. And then you've got their standbys and their finish skills to go with to basically nuke the final enemies. Especially because these guys stack attack as well. And then you've got Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Goku from the Part 2 of the 9th Anniversary who also stack. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think these 2 EZAs have just kind of made that event. I mean, it's already got miles easier than it used to be when it first came out. Don't get it twisted. I'm gonna pop an Usher just to be safe, because I can't get the key with Goku. But it was never overly difficult once it had been out for like 6+ months. But is it now fairly easy to do? Like, this is coming from a guy, by the way. Don't let me just put this out there right now. I've never actually beaten it. I mean, to be fair, I think after I'd done it quite a few times and kept losing near the end, I just never really went back because I couldn't be bothered. But is it now to a point where the 8th anniversary EZA is just basically on top of all the other units that have been released in the last like year and a half? Are they like the final nails in the coffin to make sure Festival of Battles is fairly easy to do? Maybe Dokkan will have to actually drop another stage. Because, I mean, you probably can, don't get me wrong, but I don't see how you lose with Vegeta and Trunks, the year 8th anniversary EZAs, on top of having standbys and finish skills. Then you chuck on like a Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Goku, and you chuck on like another unit who's already ridiculously good, like Daima Goku, who then gets stacked by Vegeta and Trunks. I don't really see how you lose now, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, maybe you just do too much damage and kill too quickly in the beginning, and then units don't get to stack. But dare I say the 8th anniversary units make it easy now? Like, even easier? So I think they do. But in terms of their standby for these two, we're waiting for the conditions, which is also similar to the Buu Duo, which is activated when HP is 50% or less, or starting from the 4th turn if the character receives 4 more attacks in battle, which naturally in difficult content, after like 2 appearances, you're going to get done majority of the time with very little issue.
Please, everyone, lend me your energy. I can't die. Not yet.
Darn it! Please, Kakarot! I need your power! You guys...
So here we go. Of course, these guys function a bit different to the Buu Duo. These guys need to revive within the 5 turns for you to hit the finish skill Spirit Bomb with GT Goku. And again, with them stacking attack, yes, the setup is a little bit more difficult because you have to die. I mean, you can force yourself to do it and set it up, but, you know, the other one's a lot easier for picking up orbs. But again, if you're in something like Festival of Battles and you're stacking the entire time and these guys are stacking attack, and then you go into this, look how much damage that finish skill is going to do. Of course, ours aren't going to do that much damage because we haven't actually stacked that much, even though they do stack quickly. But think about when you're stacking for a long period of time, how much damage that's really going to do. I mean, Vegeta's on 4.73 mil right now. We do have 300% attack. We also have all allies key plus 11 and attack plus 110%, which means if you have the SSJ4 Daima Goku, if you have the SSJ3 Daima Vegeta, even though their key problems kind of went away already, their standby is going to guarantee, as long as they're next to Vegeta, that they never really have them while you're in standby ever again, which is nice to have. Attacks are effective against all types. You can launch a guaranteed additional super, or you can set up the finish skill immediately just like that, if you really don't mind using it immediately.
You haven't won yet!
I can't die just yet. Not until I'm done with you. Citizens of the universe, give me all your energy! Thank you, everyone! This is it!
And a crazy amount of damage, even though we didn't stack that much. And again, that is because of how quickly and how much they stack attack in such a short amount of time. Again, imagine when you have time, imagine in Festival of Battles, how much damage that is going to do. I know we've used it already. Again, you can just set it up like that and immediately get it. But to round out Vegeta's passive, when HP is 50% or more, you get 150 defense. When, of course, you or an ally, doesn't have to be Vegeta, which I think is a great condition. Always thought it was a great condition. Dies, you will revive with HP fully recovered and, of course, trigger the active skill or the finish skill, shall I say. Then when attacking, you gain 50% attack. When the finish effect is activated, another 100%. Then if Vegeta gets a super attack, which we didn't actually see him do, 18 key, you massively raise attack by 100%, greatly raise defense by 50% for 4 turns, which he also does on 12 key. The only difference is the 18 key, you will also raise superclass allies attack by 40% for 4 turns, which when you think about some of the teams you're going to be on, like this one where Daima Goku's doing it, Daima Vegeta can do it, UI Goku I think might do it as well, but then he also does it and it lasts 4 turns. you're boosting some pretty crazy units' attack stat up quite a lot, including their own, because it doesn't say self-excluded, making high damaging enemies or high damaging units do even more damage, including themselves, of course, being the biggest part. And overall, I think this unit's great. I think this unit is great. Of course, probably not as defensively sound, especially with that chance of damage reduction, than the Buu duo, who of course stack defense and have guaranteed guard to go with. I know these guys have it as well, but you're building defense. But a very good EZA. You know, this kind of always happens, you know, when there's a more offensive focused unit and a defensive focused unit. The defensive one always kind of has the upper edge just because of how useful defensiveness is in this game. But don't get it twisted. With the amount of damage you could do with this unit, again, especially when you've got time to stack a bit more, rather than me cramming it into a video and use that finish skill, again, you're having this unit survive long enough to basically push the kill button, to basically drop a nuke like you just got a 30 kill streak in Call of Duty. So remember that's the case, and they do that job pretty well. But of course, what I will say is they're probably just a bit more fragile than, say, the Buu duo who stacks defense, which I think is fair to say. But of course, these guys are doing a lot more damage because they're stacking attack and they have loads of crit chance, which means you're actually doing good damage even before you drop into standby and use the finish skill. But that finish skill is going to be dangerous in the likes of Festival of Battles. But again, another amazing EZA. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.